Hey guys, it's Tanya Morgan here for Behind the Gloves in association with Fresco Box. Today I'm here at BXR with my fellow coach, but Cherrelle is not just a coach, she's also a boxer. So I've been waiting for an opportunity to talk to you, and today's the day, we're making it happen. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. A little bit tired, camp's over, so I'm resting, but just still ticking over.
So for the people that might just be discovering you for the first time, let's just start at the beginning. When did you first get into boxing?
I got into boxing about 6 years ago. It's really funny, I got into it to try and impress someone, not for any pure reasons.
Oh, wow,
yeah, it didn't, just for the record, it didn't work. And but I used to get in a lot of trouble, so it's a bit of a cliche story. Got into it, kind of felt like, oh, this is okay, I'm okay at this, let me keep going. I didn't really have anything else to kind of focus on. I needed that discipline, that structure, and then kind of stuck with it, and here I am like 6 years later.
That is mad. I didn't know that. You got in it to impress someone. And what was their reaction?
Basically nothing at all. It didn't even work. But like I said, I got into it, I started to really enjoy it, and I thought maybe I could take this somewhere. So I thought, let me put my head down, and like I said, here.
I'm sure they're kicking themselves now because you're doing your thing in boxing, that's for sure. So far with your career, so you've been doing it for 6 years, what are the kind of standout moments for you in your career so far?
I feel blessed because I was able to win 3 elite championships, but back to back, so like 2015, 16 and 17, and it's done, but not so often. So I feel really proud. I put a lot of work and time, invested my own money, so that was one of them, and also boxing for my country. I didn't think I'd appreciate the national anthem, and then I heard it, and I was like, all of a sudden I knew the words, I was singing, and for me that's a great highlight.
So that's what you've done so far. Moving forward, have you kind of got your eyes on anyone in particular that you want to fight, or is there a goal that you have in your head, like that's what I need to make happen in my career, otherwise I won't be happy?
I mean, some people may say this is who I want to fight, this is what I want to do. With me, the journey's never planned. People set their eyes on, for example, I wanted to be in the Olympics, but my weight category is not in it. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do. And the plan didn't go in the right way. But what I've realised for me personally, life's a journey. And I'm going to take it one fight at a time. And if the opportunities in the future present itself to maybe fight this person or that person, then I'll definitely take it because you only live once. But for now, I'm just focusing on the journey, each day as it comes, each week as it comes, and going from there.
It's a really good attitude to have. In terms of boxing and having that right attitude, do you think that that's something that you've worked on or something that was natural to you?
I don't think until I started boxing that I had the attitude at all. But, for me, boxing taught me a lot about myself, like character, how to be vulnerable. I think to be a boxer, in my experience, I've had to be vulnerable in the ring. I've had to show that I wasn't very good emotionally and had to slowly take my time to do that. So for me, boxing's the reason why I'm thinking in that kind of way now, yeah, definitely.
And that's a really interesting way of looking at it, because I guess a lot of people think of boxers, they jump in there, they're really tough, and for you to just show your vulnerability, it's amazing. And you're just like the softest, nicest person as well. And then you get in the ring, and like we were saying before, like it's just amazing how people can do that, and you're definitely an example of that. Are there any boxers, both male and female, that you're inspired by?
I'm inspired by a lot. I think there are a lot of boxers that are not spoken about who inspire me. So one of the boxers that really inspired me, her name's Stacey Copeland. She's like a previous European silver medalist, and we did the GB trials together, and we didn't get on because of the weight restrictions. And for me, she inspires me, a good role model for kids coming up, a good role model for women, and I think people like her, we need more of those. So for me, it's Stacey Copeland that inspires me.
Interesting. And in terms of boxers doing their thing right now, do you think that it's hard to get your name out there and hard to get the kind of recognition to make it to be a household name? That's quite a big thing to try to make happen. Do you think that there's things that you're going to need to help you get there, or do you see that happening for you?
I believe in this. I'm going to come across really like cliche. You reap what you sow. So whether people know me now or they don't know me at all, I put in that time and I put in that effort. And if I just keep doing what I'm doing, recognition will come to me. It's not the other way around. I don't have to call people out. I don't have to be negative about people. I just have to be myself and put that work in. And eventually, fight after fight, like I said, each time, people will get to know who I am, the Hummingbird. Yeah.
That's it. In terms of recognition versus fame, so there might be some boxers that you would know if you're in the boxing world, you recognise them for what they've done. But then there's a difference between being a household name. How do you feel about the prospect of becoming more famous and people just knowing you wherever you go? Is that something that scares you, or something that you want, or something that you thought about happening?
For me, it's about being a role model. So I work in loads of gyms around London, but my heart is where the community is. So it's being a good role model. I don't think we have enough black role models. I don't think we have enough good female role models. We've got a few and they stand out, like Kate Taylor and Nicola Adams and Natasha Jonas and the rest of them. But for me, if I were to make it there, I would try to be a good role model in the sense of you can be a sports person but have an education. You can come from the hardest background, but if you work hard enough, you can get there. For me, that's what I hold dear, and that's where I'm striving, hoping to go.
So outside of boxing, is there anything that you see yourself doing at the same time as it? If you've got your eyes on any kind of business ideas or things that you would like to do?
That's the perfect question. I was hoping he was going to ask me something like that. So in September, I'm going back to university to study as an osteopath. I had my eyes solely on boxing, but there's a life also outside of boxing. And I think because I'm not boxing, and now I have something else, it becomes a hobby, it becomes a gift to myself to train. And for me, like I said, as a sports person, people don't really push and say, be a sports person, but have a backup. So I've messed up and I've had a bad past, but now I'm turning it around once again. And now I'm going to go to the educational side and focus on the boxing. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do, be a role model in that sense.
That's amazing. So what made you want to look into learning about being an osteopath?
Well, before boxing, I was kind of in a limbo. I was 25, but not like a proper 25-year-old with their head screwed on, knowing what they always wanted to do. So I started boxing. I learned about the body, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I did a level 2 course, and I was like, that's really interesting. And I did the level 3, and I've been in the industry for a few years now, and I feel like my skills are specialist to a degree. So I thought, what could I do to improve and challenge myself? And I was like, I'm going to go back to uni. I'm going to pass it this time because I failed the last time, and I'm going to do it that sense. So after I finish boxing, I have something to look forward to. I know it's just really boring, but I watched this interview on TV about athletes who had been in the Olympics and big tournaments, and out of all of them, about 250 of them are jobless, didn't have any education. I was like, that sparked it off for me. I thought, let me do something beyond the boxing for later on.
That's a really good idea to go and do that. It sounds like you're passionate about it. Do you think if you wasn't doing boxing, you would have gone down that route, or that's something that because you've done boxing, you've thought about learning about how to be an osteopath?
Before boxing, I didn't have a clue. I didn't know even how to converse or articulate myself with people. I was just lost, and the sport brought some discipline. It brought love of life again, passion to better myself and keep challenging myself and not be complacent. So that's what boxing's done for me.
And you put that into all of the people that you train as well. I see it here at BXR every single day. Everyone that does your classes says that about you, and it's a really nice thing to see you putting that into yourself and other people at the same time. Do you think that if you, what do you think you would be doing if you didn't do boxing? If you could just guess like what your life would be, any idea what you'd be doing now?
Prison, drugs, dead, I don't know, something like that, something really tragic, a waste of life, but fortunately I'm here.
Boxing. Okay, so moving forward, is there anything in boxing that you think I need to make that happen?
Be a world champion, make my mark. I think, world titles, maybe multiple world titles, and then I can start helping the people that need to be helped. I have to be in that position first.
Do you see yourself fighting around the world?
I'd love to fight in the MGM Grand, in New York, in Madison Square Garden. But who knows, like I said, one step at a time, eventually hopefully it will come to me.
Have you ever been to watch any fights like that? Do you watch boxing as a fan as well as someone that trains?
Oh yeah, I'm going to be watching the fight this weekend with Bellew and Hay. I think it's going to be awesome.
Who you got?
I like Hay. No offence, Hay. I'm going to go with Bellew. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. If we ever meet, it's not personal.
It must be hard to pick when you're there going to be seeing them both. It's like, I chose the other one, but sorry. It's still all love. Do you think that you get enough support as a female in boxing? Do you think that you've had the help that you've needed to get where you are, or there's been a bit of a difference because you're a woman?
There's always differences. there are some equality differences, like I mentioned before, the Olympic Games. When I was boxing for England, they only had 3. I think now it's about 4 or 5. I should know this. There are differences, but I think I need to focus on my journey and my time, and I feel if I put that energy in and I do well, as I said earlier, then I can hopefully develop it for women and the up-and-coming people later on.
And do you think that more people are starting to take women's boxing seriously? It seems like it's a good time for boxing in general. Do you think that people are looking at women boxing and actually enjoying watching the sport more than ever?
Yeah, I think before 2012, people were a little bit sceptic, like, oh, I'm not sure about women being hit. But as you've seen, with the women winning like Kate Taylor, Clarissa Shields, Nicola Adams, I think we changed a lot of views. We're quite technical, we box really well, and we can do just as well as the men.
And if you could go back in time and give yourself any advice growing up, what do you think that would be that might have helped you to get to where you are now?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Failing sometimes is part of sport. Winning is part of sport. You just got to go with the flow. I know it's just building your character, and later on, you won't see the benefits now, but later on you will.
Really interesting you should say about not being too hard on yourself, because I spoke to Sammy earlier, another boxer from here, and he said the same thing. Do you think that's something that boxers struggle with in general? That you're obviously drawn to the sport, so a lot of boxers are going to have things in common. Do you think in terms of your nature, the boxers that are doing things tend to be hard on themselves behind closed doors?
I think in general, it's going to sound so cliche, we're in a world where everyone has to be perfect. You can't have anything wrong with you, and that's kind of bred into people. So as an athlete, especially when you train so hard and you don't get the decision that you desire, you think it's you and you've done something wrong. But sometimes that's part of the journey. And, like I went through a period where I was winning loads of fights, winning, and you get this pressure and then you lose and you're like, what's wrong with me? Why did I lose? But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So when I'm training and failure occurs or I don't get something right, I say just keep going, keep persevering, and eventually it will click and it will happen.
It's a really good attitude to have. Do you think that there's anything in particular that you struggle with as a boxer? Just as even a person in general, life can be hard. Is there anything that you have to really kind of work on?
I think I'm always working on myself as a person, even how to articulate myself and come across in the right way. Also on confidence, may come across confident, but only the true friends and family will see that. And just, getting over the struggle, but it's always there, but you just got to keep pushing on.
Just keep going on. And do you think there's anything that people maybe don't know about you that you want them to know?
I like Danielle Steele. Danielle Steele walks on the beach.
I love that. And when can people watch you fight next? Have you got anything lined up?
Potentially the 30th of June in York Hall. It's home of boxing. So if you want to come and see me, hit me up on Instagram or...
How can people find you on Instagram?
It's Cherrelle.Hummingbird or BXR. You can find me here if you don't know where I am.
And Hummingbird, is that what you go by when you're in the ring?
Yes, I do.
And how did you come up with that name?
So I had a competition before my first fight about, potential names. And there were things like Bomber Brown and Knock Him Down Brown. I was like, I'm actually quite a sensitive soul, like I said, Danielle Steele. And what happened was I didn't like any of those names. And there was a guy in the gym and he was like, you remind me of a hummingbird. And I looked at him like, whatever. And then I looked up the spiritual meaning. And I've gone through a lot in my life, but let's not go into that right now. And one of the spiritual meanings was resilience. And I thought, that's definitely the right one. So I went with that name just because of the meaning for me. And apparently it's the national bird of Jamaica. So I'm half Jamaican, so I was like, perfect. It's not coincidence, it's meant to be. Yeah.
And when you get into the ring, do you think that there's anything in particular when you get there and it's just you that you have in your head, this is what I'm fighting for, this is what I'm fighting for?
I just think I've got a job to do. I get in there, I stick to the strategy, job done, get out, have a bag of chips and a burger.
Nice. Well, we look forward to seeing you 30th of June. Okay, well, we look forward to getting behind you for that fight. Everybody, find Cherrelle on Instagram. Are you on Twitter as well?
I don't use it very much. I'm on Instagram.
Okay, Instagram. That's the place to find her. Get behind her 30th of June and show her some love on her journey. It's important that we see more good women representing the sport. And if you don't know about Cherrelle, as soon as you watch her videos, you'll know that she's the real deal. Thank you for watching, guys. And Cherrelle, thank you for your time. It was so nice to finally get to do this.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else